Hello, ladies. Hello, ladies. OMG, we are in week 3. I don't know where this month is going, but it is flying by. We are in week 3 of You Got Soul. And before I get into that, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Andrea Long. I am the founder and CEO of Women Have a Purpose on the Move. If you're wondering what that is, it's just that. It's women moving to share ideas, faith, hope, and love. All right? So week 3, the topic for week 3 is creating a strategy plan, right? We got to be intentional. So we're going to create a strategy plan on feeding our soul. And we're going to get into that right now. All right, let's go ahead and get into our background scripture. So our background scripture is coming from Luke, the 14th chapter and the 28th verse. I'm going to be reading it from the Message Bible. So it says in Luke, the 14th chapter and the 28th verse, is there anyone who's planning to build a new house doesn't first sit down and figure the cost so that you know if you can complete it? If you only get the foundation laid and then run out of money, you're going to look pretty foolish. Everyone's passing by will poke fun at you. He is starting something he couldn't finish. All right. So the reason why I picked that for our background scripture is because we are trying to create a strategy, a plan to feed our souls, right? And so we have to consider the cost. You have to you have to be very intentional when it comes down to us feeding our souls, okay? So that being said, I want to kind of review a little bit first because, man, I never would have thought we are already in week 3. So the first week we talked about our eyes are bigger than our stomach, okay? And so our eyes being the bigger than our stomach depends on how we feed our soul, right? And we kind of dived into the 3-person, and I was telling us how our souls help us with our productivity, because in our souls is our reasoning, in our souls is how we make decisions, okay? And so the way we feed our soul can determine our productivity in our business, in our relationships, how our relationships are thriving, and also how we reach our goals, okay? So in week 2, we talked about eliminating the cars. And of course, that was a play on words, but that's talking about how we need to lay aside the weight, right? There are some things that are not good for us, right? There are some things that are not healthy. There are some influences or things that we put into our spirit that can cause us to weigh down. And so week 2 was a detox for us. I don't know how y'all did it. We had a challenge. We had 4 days of journaling so that we can have some type of awareness of what are we putting in our ear gate, right? Okay, so today we are now talking about week 3, creating a plan for your soul. This goal or the benefit of creating that plan is just like what we said before. It creates an environment of food or spiritual food that we can eat that help our soul to be more healthy, so that when our soul is a lot healthier, then we'll be able to make those wise decisions in our daily doing, right? Okay. I think I did the review, so now we can go in. Today, I'm just going to give you three steps on how we can create this meal plan strategy for our soul. And the reason why I'm saying it this way, because I don't want to give you what I do, because what I do might not work for you, but I'm going to give you these 3 steps to help you make up your own plan to help your soul to grow and grow healthy, okay? All right, so step 1, right? Step 1 is create a list. That's it. You just create a list of spiritual growth or things or actions that will that you can take to help you get better connected with God. And what does that look like? I'm going to give you some examples. Like creating a music playlist. That's something I like to do. I like to create a playlist of different music. Like some music are the ones where you get up and jump and you ready to, like, clean your house. And it has these aspirations, like you can do it, it kind of encourages you. It's like a praise song. But creating that kind of list, I also call that my workout type of music playlist, because it's high intensity, it has a high energy, but it makes me feel good within myself, okay? Or you can create another music playlist that I call it a spiritual war. I don't know about you, but there are some weeks or sometimes months it feels like the whole world is about to come against you or something along that line. And you're like, man, you ready to give in or throw in the towel, But I create those music playlists that tells you, man, you can do it. God got your back, and, it's one of those ones, you ready to fight, So I create that kind of playlist. And then I have those one playlists that is just straight worship. It's like that intense, it's like intimate with God, right? So that's an example. But you can also look within your house, all right? And see if you have any daily devotions. There are times I have got a lot of devotions that people have given me for gifts, or like little trinkets I got. And so I have a lot of devotions sitting around here in my house. And you can go ahead and grab those. Write affirmations, like different confessions. Prepare yourself. This is you creating your list, getting your things ready. And then think of walking paths. And I know you're like, walking? How's that going to get me close to God? I'll explain it later, but it's going to come. But look around your neighborhood and see where you can park your car and just have a little stroll where you're safe and you're in God's nature, And then exercising. Think of an exercise plan. And I know you're like, wait a minute, this doesn't make no sense. Trust me, I'll explain it later. But an exercise plan, and then meditation. So those are all those different creative, I guess, recipes that you can have for your spiritual growth, right? That's step one. So step two, make a schedule. This is the time where we really got to be intentional, right? One of the things my mentor of all times, Jesus, he always set a time where he pulled himself away to spend time with God, right? No matter what he did, he healed the sick, raised the dead, he will get away and spend that time with God, right? And that just shows that time that he spent with God. After that, he did some powerful, miraculous miracles, right? So we need to make a schedule for that. That's where you have to be intentional. This ain't going to come like osmosis. So what I'm asking as our challenge for this week, 5 days out of the 7, because, some people, they do go to church, and some people have their mid Bible study. So I just want 5 days out of the 7, okay, that you pick a specific, that word always gets me, a specific time on when you are going to spend that time with God. All right. Okay. So 5 days out of the 7, you're going to say, okay, morning time, evening time, or nighttime. I'm just making it simple. Okay. And then after you do that, you're going to go back to step 1 and look at those spiritual things that you're going to do, whether it's going to be a devotional, a prayer journal, and you're going to that's what you're going to do within those times. Does that make any sense? I hope so. So for example, for me, Monday morning is very early for me. That's the time I'm the most busiest, because I just got out of the weekend, and so I'm probably not organized. So I'm running around trying to get the kids, get them ready for school. And so Monday morning, I pick prayer journaling. I write my prayers out and I do it for 5 minutes. Also, for me, it's kind of like a little brain dump, but I consider it as me acknowledging God for my week, right? So I write everything down, and I tell God all my things that I'm planning on doing for the week, and I give it to him and I acknowledge him, and then I have a gratitude about it, and I do that for 5 minutes. That's me. So I write my prayer journals in the morning. So my time for that is at 5 a.m. in the morning, and I only do it for 5 minutes. All right. So, and then Tuesday is my stay at home. So I don't go to the office. Monday I go to the office. So Tuesday I don't go to the office. So, I'm at home. I have a little more time, right? And so what I do for those days, I kind of put music on, inspirational music, like that playlist I said I have. Matter of fact, I think I'm gonna start putting playlists down in this description area, or links, send y'all links of playlists that I have. But anyways, I listen to music, or I listen to a message like from my pastor or other people, and then and that's what I do on Tuesday because I have a lot. But another idea that would be is to probably walk, because I'm in the house all the time, so take that time out to get outside of the house. So those are my examples. Okay, that was step 2. So step 2 is what? Make a schedule, right? So step 3, establish boundaries. Now, the way we can establish boundaries is we have to look ahead. So no matter how much you schedule, right? Like how you're going to do all these schedules for those days, you're going to have to, the night before, you're going to have to look ahead of the game for the next day and say, okay, I scheduled this, but what am I doing on that day? So for example, if Tuesday is usually my stay at home and I'm thinking I'm going to just listen to music and, chill with God, but and then I said I'm going to take an evening walk, but then I forgot that my son's basketball game is on that day, that's going to interfere with my walk, right? So now I have to reestablish another thing to do so that I can still get that time with God. Does that make sense too? Okay, so when that happens, if you see your schedule is conflicting, you go back to step 1, look at your list, and then plug something where you can still spend that time with God, but maybe it won't take as much time, so that you can still do those things that you need to do as a mom or a boss lady, whatever, okay? All right, so I already gave you guys all the steps. That was it. So that, after you do all those 3 steps, right, you have to pray about it, right? Pray about it. As you keep on doing these routines and you keep on doing those 3 steps along the way, you should find what works for you. You know what I mean? You should find that, oh man, I like to pray more, or oh man, I'm better at daily devotions. I put it in my car and I get a little bit in, and I can feel my mood changing. I can feel my decision making is a lot, wiser, but the only thing about that, you still have to make sure you open that schedule up with the leading, for God to lead, okay? Because there was a time I made a list and I had certain schedules going on, and then God led me to call one of my friends, and so I called her up, and next we having church all on the phone. We're enjoying ourselves. We're sharpening each other. We're encouraging each other. And my spirit is lifted to the point I'm like, wow, and I thank God for that, because that was a leading from God. That was something God opened up for me. But if I'm like, well, God, but this is our time. Like, God, you told me, this is the time I set up. So you still need to leave room for God's leading, even though when you do this routine. And once you do that leading of God, then you go right back to your routine, right? All right, so I'm going to go back again. Step 1, create a list. Step 2, make a schedule. And step 3, establish boundaries. That is very important, because the enemy tries to get us off. And most of the time, that stuff that gets us off is those outside influences that can cause us to get off track, right? Man, I hope that you guys enjoyed this week. And I hope you guys were able to create some wonderful strategy plans of you being able to feed your soul. And so if there is nothing else, until next time, walk on and stay strong. Bye.